gamers' wallets are often crying.
Ain't that the truth? But this is gonna be Gamer... What's this channel called again? GameRanx. But it's gonna be about games that are free, that are very important you don't miss out on. Let's critique with my expert's opinion that I totally have.
Yes, Steam sales exist. They're good, but they certainly don't
Steam sales are bomb.
solve the game price crisis.
They kind of do if you look at Silksong.
But fear not, some of the best things in life are free. And there's some pretty great...
But these are all going to be free games. And I will make sure that we cut through the jibber jab. And I will tell you if I've played them. And I will let you know the monetization part of it. Because every free game is going to have that. Almost assuredly.
Games that have already come out or are coming out this year. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanx, the new free games of 2025. Starting with number 15, it's Soulframe. The highly...
Soulframe still needs a little bit of touch-ups. But it's basically the exact same in terms of monetization as Warframe. As far as so far. We're hoping it stays that way. Because that's an amazing monetization style. It's very pretty. Like I said, just needs small touch-ups. Because it's still very early development. And I enjoyed it. I do plan on going back and playing them. Yeah. But it's a good game, I would say.
Follow-up to Warframe,
but I would, like, if you like Warframe, stick with Warframe right now.
It's got a long way to go before the big 1.0 release.
Yeah, it's got a long way to go.
The game's playable because you can get into the test server, and it's not actually all that hard to get a key. They give them out every week, so if you do end up signing up, you probably will get an invite eventually. So it's a sort of game that's new and available, and also not. So
I'm thinking of like probably Dragon Kohaku or someone, and we like play through that.
Way to go, though.
I don't think she really plays Warframe.
It's called Soulframe Preludes, and it's kind of a fancy way to say that it's pre-alpha. Still, what we have here has a lot of potential. It's a more slow-paced and deliberate version of Warframe, free of the weight of a decade of updates. A blank slate and a perfect jumping-on point, either now or in a few years when the actual finished product comes out. Either way, apparently, the devs want to avoid resetting progress, so whatever you do manage to do in the Prelude will carry over to the main game, but it's expected a lot about Soulframe is probably going to change pretty drastically between now and whenever the final release is, so...
It definitely is. But yeah, he's right. They don't want to reset your progress. They want to kind of do what they did with Warframe, where pretty much everything you got to keep. It's some way or another, like... If I remember correctly, the helmets from Warframe that ended up being pay to win and them realizing they were pay to win and being like, oh god, we didn't want to add that. They took away the payment aspect of it and they stopped making them like have stats. Well, you can still buy them, but they don't. The newer ones don't have stats. The old ones, I think, still have stats, but they're not like, you can't make them, you can't do anything with them. Like, so once the last person that got those is gone, those don't exist.
Jumping in now might be difficult for certain reasons that I have listed so far. It does look really promising.
They've already gotten that lesson out of the way, so you don't have to worry about that.
And the people who have played it seem really positive and excited about how it's going to expand.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So
it's got a good...
You should be also excited about how it's
good
going to
movement going so far.
The future is GameRanx. I can't tell you everything about what we're cooking up, but we've got some pretty cool stuff. All I can say is in the meantime, tons of you aren't subscribed, like just absolute tons. And it's not just us, it's site-wide across all of YouTube. But obviously, like, the thing we care about is if you're subscribed to us, not like all the other channels. And I know it's annoying, but I gotta ask, so please do it. It helps us a lot, and hopefully it helps you find stuff you want. Big thanks, let's get back to it. And number 14 is Neverness.
Summon the deer? Dwagon. Hi, Lervin.
Everness. The logline is just
Neverness
call
to
this
Everness?
thing Anime Grand Theft Auto. but it's actually kind of a more crazy, ambitious combination of GTA, Persona, and of course, because it's a free-to-play RPG, a big heaping helping of gacha mechanics. It's also not out yet. Speculation is that it'll release sometime by the end of 2025 or early 2026, as it's been in closed beta for a while now, and people have had the opportunity to play it. The game just, it looks stunning. And when I say that, I know there's going to be some people that think, oh, so the titties are big? And yes, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. It's got open world driving, action game style combat, Persona.
We already know what characters I want.
Like bosses, alternate reality.
I do want to try this game.
And honestly, like, this city at sunset just reminds me so much of the original Jet Set Radio. Gotta be clear about this. It's not competing with GTA 6. Not even in the same ballpark. Nothing about these games really looks the same. It's got kind of the weightlessness and the driving of those online-only RPGs, or even like a weird, crazy taxi-like quality to it even. Much more arcadey and bouncy. Again, not in a titty way. This is anime. We have to specify. But it's a lot more ambitious than a lot of free-to-play
Like the Blood Girl
RPGs you see, and it doesn't look necessarily like it's going to come out this year. I'm hoping so, but also I'm not expecting. It's not like it can't, so that's why it's on here, but we'll see. Hopefully. At number 13 is ENA Dream Barbecue. Finally, a real, actual game that's already come out in the year and is actually free, totally free, no free-to-play mechanics or microtransactions. It's got a supporter version you can pay a little extra to help the dev out, but that's it. And while this isn't really so much of a game, kind of an animation showcase, it is one hell of an impressive showcase. The gameplay kind of boils down to walking around surreal environments and then talking to the strangest NPCs you've ever seen. They talk, but I don't know that they necessarily make sense. I haven't really encountered.
It's a fever dream animation project. Love it. Probably will play it because I don't like fever dream stuff.
Any that makes sense. It's not even an
It looks
Alice in
pretty, though.
Wonderland sort of character type thing where.
So if you're into
person
that probably
grounds
looks
things.
fun to
Your
play.
character is just as bizarre and inexplicable as everything else. Depending on what you're looking for in a game, it might be a little too much to handle. But if you're here for it, this is an intriguingly weird game and one of the most so to come out in a while. And it's free, like completely ass-free, and that makes it even more impressive. This is considered to be Chapter 1 and is basically a demo for the rest of the game, but it is a full experience with a ton of incredible animation work. It's not the most accessible or normal game out there, but for the price of free, it's worth it just for the stunning art design.
Dude, don't want to talk to you.
Is Where Winds Meet. This upcoming Wuxie-inspired open-world RPG may be the most ambitious and impressive on the list so far. You wouldn't think it's a free-to-play game looking at it. It looks like a Chinese-based Assassin's Creed with superpowers, but seriously, this is a free-to-play game that even has a firm release date, November 14th. It's basically a surefire thing. Whether it'll actually live up to the expectations set by the mind-blowing trailers, that's another story in terms of, like, monetization. There have been people that have played it on Chinese servers where the game's been out for a few months already, and they say it's mostly the same usual pay-to-win stuff you'd expect from a free game. Not quite as massive as trailers make it sound. One trailer boasts the game has 20 regions to explore. The game in China currently has 5, and worldwide will launch with only 2 or 3, so it's not quite 20, but I mean, maybe it's probably eventually going to be, I don't know. Who cares? It's very interesting. Like, it's, for all intents and purposes, delivering on its promise, according to those who have been playing it. It's highly anticipated, and the impressions so far are solid, so it's a game to look out for when it launches in November. And number 11 is Shatter Rush, another game that's only currently in pre-alpha, but anybody can jump on Steam
I heard about this one. This one's apparently really fun.
right now and give it a whirl. The Battlefield series got BattleBit, and Shatter Rush looks like that, but for Titanfall, with an extra bit of the finals thrown in for good measure. Anybody who watches
Already got a black mark there. Like, I don't mind finals. I know some of my friends like it.
this channel knows I don't throw that around lightly either. There's some pretty
I just don't think the finals is very well balanced.
satisfying flow movement. There's some mechs, destructible environments, and on top of it all, while the whole thing is pretty early and the graphics are relatively...
Although I will say I did like the mechanics of destroyable areas. It looked like decent physics engine. And I loved the art style. It looked nice. Art style was amazing. Gameplay was, I would say, a hit or miss, depending on if you like what I describe as not balanced MOBA. But the things I liked about it, art, physics, and like destructible platforms and stuff, like the inner gameplay, and I did think the controls were pretty smooth. There wasn't any like clunkiness, I would say. So if it's anything like that, it's at least something you might want to play.
Relatively crude. The core idea is just fantastic. Like, it's nice to see someone trying to keep Titanfall's multiplayer alive in some way, because EA isn't gonna anytime soon. It's still very early, but everything we've seen of it is just very promising. At number 10 is Mecha Break, a free-to-play...
Some of you keep wanting me to play this. Y'all gotta, like, tell me about this one.
Met game. It came out back on July 1st, and it doesn't have the best reviews on Steam.
It doesn't have the best reviews. That's why I haven't played it yet, because I'm still kind of on the fence.
They're a mess. The matchmaking isn't great. The developers aren't very good at communication. There's issues. But here's the thing. The core mech-based action is a lot of fun. There's just a lot of junk that gets in the way. When you're actually in the game, it is super solid. It is super fun. But
it does look that way.
Around it kind of drags the whole thing down. I think that it's at least worth a look if you like the fast-paced robot action and stuff like Armored Core or Zone of Enders. But just like do everything you can to ignore the menus. Just get into the game, because it's quite enjoyable if you can do that. And maybe at some point these people are going to figure out how to fix that stuff. At number 9, it's Uma Musume.
We're not even looking at this one. I'm sorry to all you horse lovers. If you know about it, you already know about it. I'm just kidding. Don't hate me.
Try to say Uma Musume. Try to say that a bunch of times fast. So anyway, I had to put this somewhere. It was the meme game of the summer, and a lot of people actually really like it. It came out over here in 2025, so it's getting a look, even if the whole thing is, just basically bizarre. It's a horse racing game, but swap out horses with anime girls. Yep, so that's what this is. There's a reason why streamers got so obsessed with it for a while there. It's kind of off-putting, actually, in a certain way, if you think about it too hard. But there's also a reason why those same streamers actually stuck with the game, because it can be legitimately engaging. Not all the positive reviews on Steam are just memes. It's mostly memes, but there are unironic positive reviews in there too. It's a gacha game with the usual money-grubbing monetization that it entails, but if you're a big-time free-to-play gamer, you already know how that sort of crap works. You're already making multiple burner accounts to make sure you get the starting pull you want, reading all the optimizing strategies to spend less on the best pulls. It's an engaging management sim, and if it was just about regular old horses, it'd probably be a lot more normal, but it also probably wouldn't be nearly as popular, because it's weird. It's very weird. So I guess they made the right call. At number 8 is Ballad of Antara, another Chinese single-player Souls-like free-to-play that is, once again, very ambitious for a free-to-play game. It's not out yet, but it is expected to launch still sometime in 2025. If it does happen, I can't say for sure, but that's what the devs are saying. Yet again, we're getting a game where everything is... it looks like a standard single-player game, but it's actually free-to-play with monetization and online elements that kind of damper the excitement if you're a more traditional gamer, but as far as free-to...
It does kind of damper the idea. It looks pretty, and it probably will play really well, but, like, at what cost?
Play games go, it looks impressive. All the pre-release gameplay points to it being...
I was not watching horses!
...in terms of a Souls-like, so we really can't help but wonder what the free-to-play stuff is. Apparently, there's going to be multiple playable characters, so it's possible that has some kind of gacha system built in. Nothing's confirmed yet, and it's just speculation on our part. One interesting gimmick is there's 2 versions of the world, one more realistic and one more fantastical. There will also be co-op with up to 4 players exploring the world at once. They plan to continue supporting...
Let me play that dragon, then we can talk. You saw Uso
So basically, a free-to-play game. The whole thing looks interesting and...
Wait, are you up this early, Huey?
Hopefully it actually manages to come out
play
this
something?
year. And number
I'm gonna
7
be playing
is
Peach in a little bit if you want to
cheese-rolling.
join me.
Enough of the allegedly
And then we can play
free
something
games
else.
and back to what a free game really should be. Some dumb
They got
nonsense
chess in it
designed
now.
by a guy for fun. That's Cheese Rolling, a goofy physics-based racing game about rolling cheese down a steep hill. Go rolling with 8 players online or play offline, and that's the game.
This doesn't look like cheese rolling. This looks like people rolling.
It's a game about rolling down a hill. You're cheese. It's very silly. It's actually inspired by a real English tradition. So
I said that at the start,
learning
Yui.
about a cultural thing, I guess. I don't really know. Even with something as goofy as this, there's some microtransactions to buy, as harmless as they are. It's one of those games where the premise is what sells it. The name is Cheese Rolling. It's free, so try it out. It's actually pretty fun. And number 6 is 2XKO. The Riot Games League of Legends fighting game spinoff entered closed beta September 9th.
I only have one issue with this game, and that they're not really adding characters that would be interesting to play. They're kind of just like Alawi and a few other characters are like the most interesting characters. Then you released Set as your like new character, and everyone's like, well, of course he's gonna be in it. Why are you celebrating this one?
Then there's still speculation it's going to come this year.
Have I played
think at this
Horizon
point, the chances
Walker?
are a little unlikely, but there is a chance.
Don't think
So it's
I
on the
have.
list because there's a lot of promise, actually.
It does look
a
really
fighting
good,
game
though.
coming from a non-fighting game studio would normally give me some pause, but the gameplay we've seen looks really legit.
It does.
It's a 2v2 fighting game that seems to generally stick to the standards of the genre.
Here's my issue. Has Riot really inspired you to play any of their games recently?
I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, you got a standard light medium, standard heavy, special moves, button combinations,
So
blah blah. You get it. It's a fighting game. There's some simplifying elements, like it sounds like executing supers is pretty basic, but otherwise it's a standard game using characters from League of Legends. Now, what's particularly interesting here is that the actual free-to-play fighting game seems just legit. There's not a lot of these in terms of the
One of the biggest issues I have is both Alawi and Vi. Vi looks terrible. Her animations just don't look. Like, her ultimate is literally just her flip-flopped a couple times, punching at nothing. Come on. You're Riot. Stop trying to cheap out.
genre at all. Hopefully it ends up being good first and a success second. The characters look very cool, mechanically sounds good, a lot of real potential here. And number 5 is Supervive, a top-down action game. It's part MOBA, part Battle Royale, and it's an all-around really
Supervive does look
and fresh take
interesting.
on
I might play
multiplayer
that.
action. It's pretty complex.
It looks
There's
like a
lot to learn
decent,
'cause
like,
all the
better
characters
alternative
and
to
build
League.
possibilities are. I mean, there's a
As
lot.
far as I know, they don't have kernel level
of 'em.
HG.
But the core is a solid game. It's let down a little bit by certain elements of its design, like locking away some major gameplay elements behind progression, like you have to open loot boxes to customize your builds, for example, but the game is otherwise very polished.
I don't think they need to do that. They could probably stop doing that and do better.
And a lot
It's
of
one of
fun to
those
play.
you're
It's
hampering your
also-
own design
it's
with
on balance, but
monetization.
that's another thing that comes from playing a game
paywall.
that doesn't quite fit into any one genre. Not exactly a MOBA, but it borrows some of those mechanics. Not exactly a battle royale either, but with the ways it lets you sometimes drastically alter how your build works, it's gonna be tough to balance it. There's also the usual issues of an early game, like people complaining about lack of players. It's a game that may not be alive.
Well, I think the reason the lack of players is that earlier criticism. If they took that out, they'd probably gain a lot more players.
If in a year or two, who really knows? Hopefully it
Which also like begs the question, did they add that there to lower the amount of people playing it? Because they know they have a good product, but they're not ready for the full storm of people.
does manage to stick around because it's something different.
It does look kind of bad in terms of art.
And number 4 is the 7 Deadly Sins Origin. It's basically Genshin Impact
You mean
with an
League?
actual
Well,
anime
yeah, it's
license.
based on that.
Even knowing what to expect, though, it looks
They're trying to compete with League. And I think they know they can beat it, but they don't want too many people right now.
pretty promising. And the developers are claiming it's coming
So they
this year.
self-sabotage for a little bit.
So even though it's yet another game on the list that's not actually out yet, At least it seems possible. The game is going to have all this stuff we've come to expect from these quasi-MMO free games. Huge world, action RPG, combat, dungeons.
Here's my question. How are you going to make this a free-to-play game? Like, what's being monetized here? If you're going to monetize the characters, the second you release Escanor, game's over. Escanor is quite literally the strongest character in the universe. Like, even Meliodas in one parts of the anime says that. In terms of strength, Escanor wins. In terms of battle strategies, Meliodas would win.
Fishing, heavy dose of exploration.
But also, Escanor might still win that, because that's how strong he is.
And gotcha stuff. At least that's what I can assume, because the marketing is pretty light-lipped about what the monetization's gonna look like. It's coming from Netmarble.
I'm seeing them playing other characters that aren't like the main characters. And it's coming from Netmarble.
Although they came from the minds behind the recent Game of Thrones King's Road, so the monetization's probably be pretty bad.
Yeah, that doesn't...
But the game does look better, like in pretty much every way. The action looks more fun, the world looks more interesting. Could be a fun game to check out whenever it ends up launching. After 3 is Fragpunk. This 5 versus 5 hero shooter is basically just a slightly modified version of Valorant, but it's got some interesting elements that manage to mix things up. It's got a prop hunt mode, for instance. That's something people still play, right? So let's be honest. Fragpunk is a game that's already kind of on its last legs, even though it only launched a few months ago, back in March. That's the way these kinds of games go. It's either catch on or fade away. The biggest complaints about this one is just the lack of players, in that it is Valorant in a lot of respects. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, though. Some people like it more than Valorant. The actual shooting mechanics are a lot of fun. The levels are well designed. It's not a bad game at all, just kind of direct.
They'll make it to unlock Escanor's full potential. You'll need to get him in gacha 30 times, and that's it. Infinite money. Probably.
Derivative.
Makes sense.
Number 2 is Lunacid, Tears of the Moon. A fascinating little thing, a prequel to Kingsfield and Shadow Tower inspired indie game Lunacid. If you don't know, Kingsfield is kind of the proto Dark Souls that From made back in PlayStation 1. It's a first-person dungeon crawler. It's crude, but a whole lot of ideas and influences went into them that ended up being what culminated in Demons and Dark Souls. There's been a renewed interest in them in the 2010s and beyond. That's why we've been getting these kinds of weird little free Kingsfield-likes, I guess is the way to put it. They're more than just inspired by it. This one in particular was made with the Sword of Moonlight, the Kingsfield Game Maker tool, originally released in Japan back in 2000. This game is made entirely using that old creation kit, and it does show. It's as ugly and clunky as the old games, but because of that, it's also the most accurate modern-day Kingsfield experience. That doesn't necessarily make it the most satisfying game out there. It's a strange little artifact and curiosity.
I might play that.
Worth checking out.
We gotta finish Dark
really
Souls
see
3,
the limitations
I
of
believe,
the
is
old
what we
engine
need to play
everywhere
next,
here,
but
though.
I
I mean,
play
just
this.
running this thing in widescreen shows how the
It looks
environment
kinda
just
fun.
disappears anywhere too far to the left or right, but it's still an impressive achievement that they were able to get it running at all. And at number 1, I have Mr. Rabbit Magic Show. Last, but of course not least, is a free little addition to the Rusty Lake universe, an oddball little collection of puzzles with a creepy, uncanny edge to them. If you don't remember, the Rusty Lake games are basically Newgrounds games, but good. And the Mr. Rabbit Magic Show is pretty much the same thing, only it was somehow released in 2025. These games feel like such a throwback. It's nice to see someone keeping the spirit of the early internet alive by releasing these sort of things for free. If you like puzzles or creepy stuff in general, then check this game out. It's not long, but it is great. I do have some bonus games for you. The first is Sonic Rumble. Sonic actually has a pretty good track record for free games. This one looks like it'll continue it. It's Sonic combined with Fall Guys. 32 players race to complete it.
Not gonna lie, that sounds fun. If they don't over-monetize it, that'll be pretty fun.
Of course, there's only one winner possible. It's a solid idea.
Well,
and
why
while it doesn't have
is
the speed usually
Arena
associated with
Breakout?
the shooting isn't exactly realistic, and it doesn't feel as powerful as it could be, given how realistic the game is in April. So this year is the first experience a lot of people are having. It's a lot like Genshin Impact, but for a lot of people, it's superior.
Here's my
It's
thing.
got more fun game.
Wuwa seems to be very hard to get the characters you want. Take that with a grain of salt. That's all I'm gonna say about that game. but it is really good.
Game mechanics, better quality of life features. It's pretty blatantly borrowing a lot of ideas from its inspirations, and a lack of creative new areas kind of hurts this game a little bit, but it's generally considered to be a solid game that fixes a lot of people's problems with how Genshin Impact plays. It's still lousy with microtransactions and gacha elements, but that's a given for the genre. If you're able to look past all that, it's a really good action RPG, open world, free to play, probably one of the best ones out there. It's so good that some people might actually like it, even if they aren't already knee-deep in free-to-play muck, and that's about as high praise as you can give to one of these types of games. That's all for today. Leave us...
That's all for today. Over monetization in the year of our Lord 2025 in this game market? Surely not. Maybe. Maybe, but that was GameRanx. It was pretty good. Give it a like. Give it a view if you enjoyed it. You think all MOBA are boring, Muma? Yeah, kinda.
A few moments later.
That'd be nice.
Huh?
I said be nice. Clock was very shy.
Maya
who, Maya ha ha.
Hello.
Salut. It's me.
It's me.
Picasso.
Your Duke. What? Oh, no, Picasso comes later.
Oh, he does come later, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Let me check on Clock.
It starts off with my Duke, and then he talks about like how he's like a musician and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Hello, it's me, Picasso, and I'll paint you a picture of love.
My
But when
words
you
of
leave,
love.
My colors to go to gray.
On everyone. You have memorized that song. Very good.
No, I was listening on loop for the last 2 hours while fixing my model.
Okay. Yeah, that would also help.
So I have a roulette playlist where it's just nothing but that song on loop, except for one, where it will randomly do the ADHD version.
Hello. The ADHD version? Why?
Have you not heard the ADHD version?
I have not.
Hold
You
on,
need
I
to
got
send me
you.
this.
Oh, okay, hang on.
This is Muma, Kwaku. They are
Hello, Mama.
me if I was
Hello.
lewd and just a bit more unhinged.
Wait, you but more unhinged?
Yes.
Oh god. Oh god, what have I signed up for?
You pain, possibly. Or a very lovely moment of ADHD chaos. I don't think there's
It's
an
okay.
in-between.
I'll be the scout mom. That's me. Ow,
Here you
my
go.
eyes.
React to this on stream, you'll love it and enjoy it.
Oh my god. I'm gonna look at this real quick. What the heck?
This is the ADHD version.
It's only 1 minute?
Yeah.
Oh. Whatever. Linda still. No, not Peely.
What? What the hell? Wait, this is Patrick.
Okay, let's see.
This is Patrick.
Ox.
Maya who, Maya ha, Maya ha, Maya ha, Maya ha. But we'll watch this. You know, we're gonna watch this. You wanna watch this?
Own engine. That's the solution. We have CEOs that are stepping forward to tell their paying customers that performance issues largely are just a figment of their imagination.
Figment of their imagination. Yet this game is apparently going to be the new Crisis. No computer can actually run it.
And that according to their independent and likely non-existent research that humans can't even detect input lag.
What's hilarious is that no one's mentioned the TOS. Should I just play the game at this point? Since everyone up. Wait, what is it at right now? It can't be very high. Right. I don't think it should be the top. I did decent. I don't think it should have done decent, but it did decent. 200,000 for a game like it. It's kind of disheartening to see how... That's pretty good. Limbus is actually the 21st most played game right now. That's actually pretty exciting. That's not bad. But yeah.
You can't even see these frame rate issues. You know what? Let's take it a step further. Let's create a class divide by telling the players that we make premium games for premium gamers. Against the backlash of Borderlands 4's garbage performance, regardless of whatever hardware you're playing on, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford is...
To be fair, the 5090 is crap. The 50 series is crap. It is Borderlands 4.
Come forward on social media, and instead of just saying, we hear you, we're working on it, proceeds to have the most epic and catastrophic crash out that I think I've ever seen in the history of video games. This guy goes on for like 20 responses just talking to himself. Performance in AAA games has been one of the biggest issues that most players are facing today.
Performance should never be the issue with a game. Not with the amount of money you spent on the game. Performance should be the last issue. Like, I'm okay with, like, a little bit of stuttering at the start when it first comes out because, oh, we missed one thing or something. Let us fix this real quick, or, like small little issues or something. If it's not running on the best hardware possible, that's a you issue. That's a you didn't do your job as the company. Greg! Hi, Kami. How's my YouTube chat doing? And how's my Twitch chat doing? My kobolds. Do we call the YouTube chat kobolds as well? Are y'all both kobolds? Thoughts for another day. That's the thing, Self. Even with that, you're not getting good performance. How's my favorite dragon? I'm doing good. Kobolds won't get me fish sticks, Kami. Can you believe that?
And the prices for these games continues to...
I just want a 4090. I'll be happy with that. That would make me happy. Because my 3070 is starting to show its age. I think I might give away my 3070 if I end up getting a 4090. Like, I might sign it or something. Give it away to someone in chat. Something like that. That, or I'll give it to my editor. Whatever, like, I might, like, put it up to chat to decide. I hate FrameGen and DLSS.
Increase, but so does the hardware demands.
I just like it.
Because these games are not being made with the customer in...
I might not be able to see past, like, 100 frames a second. Like, the majority of people who can't. I'm pretty sure most people can't. Like, it's like 90-something% or something like that. But I can kind of see where, like, the fake frames, where it looks like there's an extra... it feels slow to me. It feels like it's slower than 60 frames to my eyes. Because I see the double frames.
Expectations, and they don't value performance and quality the same way that we do. It's just not
power source. I'm pretty sure my power source is 1,400. I could check. I'm pretty sure. I definitely would need to get a new power bank. Might give away my power bank, or Papa might want it. I don't know, because I think my power bank's like 900 or 950 or something.
Today, I want to talk about the public crash out of Borderlands 4. I want to talk about the critical difference in how we value performance while the industry seems to just not value it at all, and why they expect for us to continue to pay for their mistakes. Sorry, my wallet's not feeling all that empathetic. Big thanks to Starfort Systems for supporting the channel and sponsoring today's video. They build some of the most powerful custom PCs out there.
Some of these PCs look gorgeous.
Hand-assembled, stress-tested, and built to last. Whether you want a pre-built rig ready to go or a full custom build, check out Starfort Systems and use my link in the description below. Now, as many of you guys might know, I was hyped for Borderlands 4. I love RPGs, I love first-person shooters, I grew up on Diablo, and Borderlands has always been the perfect blend of both. I have put thousands of hours into the series from the very first game. Hell, I even enjoyed Borderlands 3 as long as I played it on mute and pretended like Ava never existed. So when I heard that Borderlands 4 was going to be even bigger...
That's like the only reason I haven't played Borderlands 3 is I have heard nothing but bad things about it. I have a 1200 PSU. I need to upgrade it, but at the time I didn't have that much extra money to work with.
Bigger open world, more build diversity, more guns, more bosses, and a more grounded narrative. I could not wait to dive in. And now that it's here, I love it. Don't get me wrong, the game definitely has its shortcomings. The loot feels a lot more toned down earlier on in the game. Dropping a massive boss only to get like 5 basic rarity items is limp and unsatisfying, but beyond that, the game nails so much. The movement options, the sheer variation in baseline build.
I kind of like... I liked 2's a lot more, where, like, you were almost guaranteed at least an epic or so from bosses. Like, you had a chance of getting, like, a legendary named weapon of theirs, but, like, you had an almost guarantee at least of an epic. So you could upgrade one of your weapons. Borderlands 2 was really good.
Builds,
Borderlands 2 was
the
fun.
world building, the tone, even the humor. It
I love
all
Borderlands
lands
2.
way better than the last game. The
Borderlands
new
2 is the
weapon
best
types
one
and
they've ever
licensed part
made.
Systems are great touches too. Playing solo or with friends,
No.
Borderlands 4 is exactly what I hoped this series would evolve into. But what I never expected is that it would be a performance dumpster fire.
Leave my Gage alone. I loved the old conference call with Gage, where she had an ability where her bullets would bounce if she missed. And if you upgraded it enough, and you had the old conference call, you could shoot the ground, and you could conference call everyone in the vicinity. You could boom, because all the bullets would turn into like 5 extra bullets that would bounce until they hit something. So it'd go, and it would guarantee crit when she was fully upgraded. Love that. And then I loved having the B shield as well. The old B shield where you shot the ground. And because of the B shield had such a high, like, energy, the old one, you would, like, super crit. Like, bosses would die in, like, a few shots if you shot the ground.
I'm playing Borderlands 4 on an RTX 4090 with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D. That is not mid-range hardware. It's absolutely not top of the line either, but it's strong enough that I almost never run into any performance issues that I can't solve by just brute forcing it. Yet here I am, even on high settings, I'm stuck relying on DLSS performance, upscaling, and frame gen just to be able to hit something close to stable, and even
that sickens me. I don't like it.
Then the game is constantly bugging out with lighting that's flickering and tunnels, cave entrances that are glowing, and artifacts.
And I loved the psycho. What was his name? John or something. Something silly. I love the Psycho. I love Gage. I think the only good base character, though, in my opinion, was the ninja guy. I didn't quite like their Berserker. The dual wielding thing, that was dumb. In my opinion, at least.
Objects that are popping in and out like it's 2008. Dude, this is 2025. This game likely cost Gearbox over $300 million to make with marketing included. It's been in development for 7 years. It costs $70 at a minimum, and the deluxe edition is pushing $130. And while the game is definitely big, it's cel-shaded. It's not pushing hyper-realistic fidelity. Performance should be the last thing that's dragging this game down.
It should be. What everything is dragging this game down.
Kind of money that we spent and the kind of money that they spent, optimization is not a luxury, it is the baseline expectation. Then again,
Exactly.
I guess we probably should have seen this coming, because just before the game released, there was a promotional fundraiser for Borderlands 4, and the game crashed live while Conan O'Brien was playing it. And suddenly, now that embargo not lifting until the game launched makes perfect sense.
Fantastic.
I've never seen this
I
crash.
crashed the game. Sorry, Borderlands 4.
I've never seen this crash the game.
Since launch, the conversation around Borderlands 4 has been dominated by its abysmal performance across both PC and console, although PC players have definitely been the loudest, but that's simply just because it's easier to track.
That's just the Conan effect. He will find the problem.
And measure for these guys. Articles, videos, social media threads, and now Steam are all echoing the exact same complaint. The game runs like trash. And normally, when this happens, you'd expect the developer to step up and do the usual PR lines. We hear you, we see the issues, and we're working on those fixes, but this is Gearbox that we're talking about. This is Randy Pitchford, the same CEO when fans were expressing their concerns over whether or not the game would cost $80, told them, well, real fans will buy Borderlands 4. Following the backlash, Randy Pitchford took to Twitter to play customer support after boasting that Borderlands 4 could climb over 120 FPS on 3 to 4-year-old hardware. A player pushed back saying, "What hardware? What are the specs? It's great that you're offering help, but wouldn't it have been better to build it for the most common hardware in the first place?" Randy responds with, "The minimum and recommended specs are published. The most common hardware is a 4-year-old cell phone. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. Just as it can't run on a PlayStation 4, it cannot be expected to run on outdated PC hardware. Unlike on PlayStation and Xbox, we can't..."
That's such a cop. That's such a cop.
Can't stop PC players with suboptimal hardware from trying to play the game. Some try and get mad.
He blamed players. Okay,
Some have real
yeah, good
issues
job.
we need to
Good
fix,
job.
and some need to learn how their PCs work at a high end in 2025 and use tools available to find the right balance between frame rate, resolution, and
Hi,
graphic
Jappos.
features. This is not a game meant to
Jappo.
run on 10-year-old PCs. It uses the full capabilities of modern buses, CPUs, and GPUs. If you're trying to drive a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor, you're going to be disappointed. If you discover your system can't run the game well, whether by accident, wishful thinking, or just not wanting to mess with the settings, please use the refund feature on Steam rather than having a subpar experience. This is one of the most ignorant, insulting, tone-deaf responses I've ever seen from a CEO. Pitchford isn't just deflecting criticism here, he is outright sneering at the people who paid for his product. He's framing Borderlands 4 like it's some kind of elite luxury experience, a premium game made for premium players, while conveniently ignoring the fact that it's a broken mess that can't even run properly on hardware that's far and above the recommended specs. He's not talking to the average player here. He is talking down to them as if the problem is their ignorance and their 10-year-old PC rather than his studio's inability to ship a functional game. But no, instead of acknowledging that, he would rather reduce legitimate complaints into 3 buckets. People that either get mad, people that have real issues, and then the ones that need to learn how they're...
Oh, you talking about Randy Pitchford? Yeah. I don't understand how Randy's still in the job he's in, but also I don't understand a lot of the changes they've made. I'll tell you that. A lot of the changes they made over Borderlands to 3 boggle my mind. To 4 boggle my mind harder. Like, it's
PC works.
It just
Translation, if the
bores
game
me
runs
and
poorly,
annoys me.
it's your fault or your imagination. Please use the refund feature on Steam. Dude, that is not cost...
Please start refunding. Please. teach them a lesson.
Customer support, that is a CEO of a studio basically telling their paying customers to get lost if they're not willing to bend over backwards to tinker with their settings for a $70 to $130 game that should be working out of the box. Imagine dropping hundreds, even thousands of dollars on modern PC hardware, buying a flagship release, and then being told by the guy in charge that you need to become a part-time technician or just walk away. This is not leadership. This is active content. This is the same old Randy Pitchford routine: gaslight, deflect, insult, and then just blame the players. And the fact that he is doing all of this while Borderlands 4 is collapsing under the weight of its own performance issues just makes this all the more pathetic. And of course, if you guys thought it stopped there with the first tweet and you thought that was going to be the
Is that a syringe gun? What the heck?
low point, you are wrong, because Pitchford did not stop there. He went on a 19-post rant, doubling down on every single excuse and condescension.
Some of you would prefer more FPS or more features or higher resolution. We have provided many tools to help you make those trade-offs. It is a mistake to believe or expect that PC between minimum specification and recommended specifications can achieve all of extremely high frame rate, maximum ultra features, and extremely high resolutions. People aren't even saying that. Where does he get that idea? If that last post makes you have a negative reaction, I bet you have emotions and expectations that you feel aren't sufficiently attended to. I'm sorry. But please accept that the game is doing a lot and running pretty optimally, and that you may have to either accept some trade-offs between FPS features and resolution as your preference, or you will continue to be disappointed. There are a few real issues, but they are affecting a very, very small percentage of users. Highly doubt that. We are fixing those, and many are already fixed. We are also doing significant work on PC performance and, well, everything else that is coming at us. We're not stopping.
That he could muster across the thread that he had made. He insisted that
If you have feelings about PC performance, my advice is to not wait and to make the trade-offs to prioritize what is important to you. If it's FPS, you can get high FPS by turning off some features down or reducing resolution. If it's features or resolution, you may be playing at 60 FPS or even 30 FPS if you have lower end hardware. Use DLSS. Hi, coming. Morning, gun. Everyone has the freedom to believe what they want to believe, and I know on the internet it's easy to find rage and passionate people who are convinced all things of things, whether they're true or not. DLSS is bad. It's been proven to be bad. Like, I don't mind using it, like, in an offshoot scenario. But when you're saying it's required to run the game at the promised settings, that's when I have an issue.
Borderlands 4 was pretty damn optional, claimed that the real issue players were having was that they weren't making the right trade-offs between FPS, resolution, and features, and repeatedly framed 30 FPS on minimum spec and 60 FPS on recommended as perfectly reasonable for 2025. He dismissed any higher expectations as mistakes and blamed players for having the wrong hardware and the wrong mindset. He trotted out that same tired argument that DLSS is the magic fix, even though, and also suggesting that if people don't like frame generation, well, that's just because they saw something scary on the internet.
Frame generation is crap. I'm sorry. I can see it, and I don't like it.
Through his own research that he's been led to believe that humans can't even detect input lag. The through line of all...
I can. And I'm pretty sure a few other people can, because they've, like, shown it. They've shown you, like,
19 posts is the same. The game is fine, you're the problem. Whether it's telling players that they need to accept reality, that their emotions are clouding their judgment, or that they should just refund the game if they don't want to fiddle with their settings. And just when you thought he finally might log off, he drops one more gem. Code your own engine and show us how it's done. We'll be your customer when you pull it off. This is just pure spite for the people that are funding your game. Imagine spending 7 years and hundreds of millions of dollars on a product that can't even maintain a stable performance. And then you turn around and you start mocking your customers by telling them to build their own engine if they think that they can do better. Guys, I think Randy must have left his conscience on a USB drive at medieval times, because I have never seen such a mask off moment or such an unjustified crash out. He's trying to frame this like players are asking for 300 FPS on 10-year-old hardware, when in reality, channels like Hardware Unboxed have already proven that a stable 30 or even 60 FPS doesn't even hold up on the very hardware that Gearbox is advertising. Their test had shown that Borderlands 4 was struggling on modern GPUs with a 7-year-old 2080 Ti delivering worse results than Cyberpunk 2077 at launch. And when they finally dug into the so-called optimization guide published by NVIDIA, it looked like the entire thing was AI generated, riddled with nonsense recommendations, and we have a CEO that is getting mad that everybody...
Of course, NVIDIA used an AI to generate a frame rate chart. Oh, God, that's just a cherry on top.
Noticed. This makes me so embarrassed to be enjoying Borderlands 4. I would say that I regret the purchase.
Yeah, you think you hate Epic enough and you don't.
But 2K gave me a code on the terms that I at least made a video for the game, so here's your...
Gaming CEO Craig sounds like someone who is this close to finding out. Greg didn't do nothing. Greg's just here.
Video. I'm so getting blackballed from this industry, but that's okay. I make videos for you, not for them. I'm so sick of the moral posture. How many times I have to see these developers say things like, we worked so hard on the game, we love this game. That's great. We want to be able to play the game comfortably. And the fact that you would take offense to that shows that you're just being defensive about not doing your job. You insult your customers and their intelligence. I have never seen somebody fight so hard and try so hard to destroy the reputation of a genuinely solid game that just needed a little bit more time in the oven. You are making permanent statements for temporary problems. All you had to say was, we hear you, we're working on it. That's it.
2 words. We hear you. We're working. 6 words, sorry.
That was too hard. Maybe if you didn't spend that $12 million bonus on a magic house and instead spend it on the salary of your optimization
Magic house?
Quick math.
Quick math.
team, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you don't have any excuses. That's the problem that I don't think that they understand. Cyberpunk 2077 runs better. That's a far more...
It's a poor salesman who blames their audience for not accepting substandard product. Exactly. Once again, the current marketing and CEOs prove that I'm better at marketing than them.
Detailed game. Kingdom Come Deliverance runs insanely well, and that game has hyperphotorealism, it has life schedules for its NPC and AI, and that game could work on just about anything. You have competition that's out in the market right now that proves that this is your fault, not the fault of the players or their hardware. But you can't handle that. You can't come to terms with that. Know who your customer is and meet them where they are. Under no circumstances is it our fault for not keeping up with the most modern hardware. And the entire time,
it's never
complaining about...
It is never the customer's fault. It is always the company's fault. The company should have like researched and known like that a lot of people couldn't handle that. Streamers don't get that luxury. True. I have to get the game within the first 2-3 days. Exactly. If you aren't day one, you're not relevant.
All these players not using the right settings. He's constantly bringing up DLSS. He's constantly bringing up
only the biggest streamers can kind of do what they want. And even then, if it's a game a lot of their chat was wanting, they better have it day one.
These are modern solutions to problems that you created, and it's using hardware that most players don't even have access to. I'm so sick of these companies pretending like FrameGen is some magic bullet for performance. It's not. It's a band-aid that is there to cover up for steep hardware demands it's created by poor optimization. And half the time, it's creating more problems than it's actually fixing. Extra input latency, artifacting, CPU bottlenecking, and diminishing returns the higher your frame rate goes. The irony is that FrameGen is only available on 40 and 50 series GPUs, the exact cards that are going to be running at higher frame rates to begin with. It's a self-defeating solution. The players who actually need the performance boost don't even have access to it, while the people who do have access to it are going to be the ones getting the least benefit from it. What makes this all worse is the industry's blind faith in it. Just a few weeks ago, I had made a video that was pointing out how at least one company finally admitted the obvious, that the pace of hardware and software...
What's hilarious is it was EA. I guess losing all that money from their gotchas made them wake up and smell the roses. Right, guys? They understood.
Software development has completely outrun players' ability to keep up. Every year, publishers are chasing higher fidelity, more photorealism, more systems that are crammed into these massive games, but wages have not risen with inflation.
Well, I'm guessing someone is new in marketing or something and was like, hey, the majority of people can't play it on this. Why don't we just make it not do DLSS? Let's, like, do this, and we'll get, like, twice the amount of people playing our game. Immediately.
Let alone the cost of being able to keep your hardware current.
And then that marketer got proven right when more than half the people that played the beta were playing on lower specs than they recommended, and they still had to find time. They're like, ha, see, I told you.
Players simply cannot afford to upgrade at the rate that these companies are demanding us to. Pitchford leaned hard onto DLSS and frame generation in his responses, but the reality is FrameGen is only available on 40 to 50 series GPUs. According to Steam's August hardware survey, that's just 22% of users, meaning that 78% of PC players don't even have access to these so-called solutions that he keeps preaching about. That's what I mean when I say that these companies are not serving their customers where they actually...
See what I mean? Almost double your player base just by not doing DLSS. Isn't that kind of wild?
They are, and Gearbox isn't alone in doing this. When I saw the heated discourse around performance, I went and checked out to see how...
Well, obviously, Lervin, you're right. This is understandable, but it's not the majority of buyers. Exactly. The majority should influence the market, and the majority do not have DLSS. I don't have DLSS. I would not say often advertisers. Well, they are advertisers, but they don't... A lot of them don't get it for free a lot of the times. It's only like the biggest of the big that get it for free. Even if some of them have to buy it. I would love for that to be true, though, that we get it for free.
Lined up with the game's reception on Steam, Borderlands 4 was sitting around mostly negative, which is exactly what you would expect given what players were experiencing, but critics, they had the game sitting at an 84 on Metacritic and an 85 on OpenCritic, making it one of the best reviewed games this year and automatically a recommendation. Almost every reviewer did mention performance issues, yet none of those problems really ever seemed to touch the final score. When I pointed out
this... Which is hilarious. You are a reviewer and you had performance issues and you still gave it a 9 out of 10 or higher? You're not doing your job. Performance is an immediate -2, in my opinion. I can't give you higher than a 7. Like, for me, it's a -3, by the way. I can't give you higher than a 7 if I have performance issues.
Gap seeing this disparity between user scores and critic scores, I had summed it up on Twitter saying there is an ocean of difference between how customers value
developing the new Battlefield, they avoided ray tracing. I have a feeling it was one of the marketers that was like, yeah, let's do this. And so, like, they had their developers stay away from it. Little known fact, marketing kind of runs early stages of development and late stages of development. That's usually why your game sucks or does good. Sometimes it is the developers, clearly, but, like, the decision to not go ray tracing and stuff, that was a joint decision by marketing and developers. And it definitely got started somewhere either in marketing or, like, someone in development was, like, pushing it.
Performance and how critics seem to nod. This caught the attention of Paul Tossi, a writer from Forbes, who had quoted me saying that I think that there's a difference between a player base using a Steam thumbs down to express valid discontent and a critic submitting a permanent score to Metacritic when there could be a patch the next day. Though you mention it in the review, certainly. This started a bit of a back and forth between me and Paul Tossi, where I replied saying, I totally get where you're coming from, and ultimately that proves my point. Critics do weight performance issues differently than players because of the permanence of your reviews. While I appreciate you and others mentioning performance, there is a major difference in the reception of it. First impressions are oftentimes last impressions for players, and poor optimization leaves players feeling undervalued in a way that critics don't communicate.
Like, I can understand you make a review and it's done. So you want to base it on the game itself for the most part. First impressions matter. Your first impression should be the grade it gets. So if performance issues were clear, that better be first and foremost in your review. Thank you for the pad.
Paul pushed back saying, I get why the reaction is different, but I still can't agree that we value it less. We may think about it differently, but I don't think that we care about it less because it doesn't tank our overall score. I also think that there are levels between this doesn't work and frames drop.
For gamers, that's a very thin line. If frames are dropping every now and then, like going from 60 to like 50 and stuff, and it's like up and down there, that's not an issue. That's a frame drop. If it's struggling to keep above 50 and it's constantly dipping below 30 sometimes, that's a it doesn't work moment. Because it's clear, we can see it, it messes with us, it breaks the immersion.
I clarified my point saying, I'm not saying that you don't care or that it doesn't tie into your review score. However, the perception of value is different between those that are spending money on an experience and the purpose of that experience for them. It's the difference between outrage and inconvenience. He replied, I suppose, but you could extrapolate that to be true for any aspect of a game, i.e. we care less a game is bad because we got a free code, which isn't true. I pushed back again saying, we do though. I'm including myself here so it doesn't feel like I'm trying to dog on you. It feels comparatively worse paying for a bad game than playing it for free. Again, inconvenience versus outrage. One wasted my time, the other wasted my time and money. He countered with, yeah, I mean, I pay for games, I don't pay for others, but it being free never changes my opinion. You just know it's a paid product and go from there. I get how some people may not believe that, but it is what it is. I wrapped it up with, I think this is a great conversation to explore regardless of differing perspectives and opinions. I know you're on FPS sometimes. Good topic to bring up with Ralph at some point. I know that he pays for his trips and previews out of pocket out of fear of changing his or his audience's perspective. I think this whole conversation illustrates why players in the industry at large are just living in...
Yeah, that's what I want is an AMD 4090. Right now I don't even have an AMD card, I don't think. Do I? It's a Sapphire or something.
In two different realities right now. Paul is not wrong that critics think about it differently, but that's exactly the issue. Critics can afford to think about it differently. For players,
one, they can afford to think about it differently, but also, I do have a strong rig. I do think it's starting to show its age just a bit, and that's why I'm worried, but it is very strong. That's why I get very confused when certain games just fail. But, I have, fiber optics now. I should not have any issues with the internet. Shouldn't. Doesn't mean I won't, but the idea is shouldn't. But, of course your opinion is colored differently when money is involved. You may say it isn't, but you don't know that if you're not spending the money. / you're not a gamer that has little money to spend on games to begin with. That's why some of these people don't understand the whole $80 versus $70 thing. That's why I was so proud of Team Cherry doing their game at $20. It was like, this is what a gamer wants. I don't give a crap about those sales. Me seeing the follicles on your neck. That doesn't justify $40 extra to me, or $60 extra to me and stuff. Game be good, game work. Game no work? Book of mad.
Performance is not some abstract scoring metric. It's just the difference between a game being playable or not, between a purchase feeling like it's justified or a scam. When these critics are framing these performance issues as minor inconveniences, it comes across as dismissive. Players do not experience bugs and stutters like there's some footnote. We're experiencing those things like they're the actual game. And when these games are costing $70 to $130, that frustration is now hardening into outrage. What I don't think these guys understand is that critics are not living with that same financial weight, not in the same way. Most of these guys are getting their copies for free, and
most of the reviewers are getting their copies for free, or like it's like a drop in the bucket for them. Comparatively. Like, I'm not saying it is a drop in the bucket for them, but like compared to a person that works all day, every day, gets home, just wants to play a game. They only have enough for one game. They buy this game. It disappoints them, but they only bought the game based off your review. That's a you issue.
no matter how much they insist that that's not affecting their judgment, it changes the psychology of value.
It
Paying
absolutely
for a broken
does.
game hits harder. It feels like betrayal. That's why review scores barely move when performance is bad, and that's why user scores are the ones that are tanking. It's not that we players value it more, it's that we experience the cost of failure more directly. A critic can wait for patches, they can keep their score intact, and they can just move on to the next code in their inbox. But a player, well, we're stuck looking at a broken purchase and wondering why the press seems to just not care about any of our outrage or take any of it seriously.
This is why I value a Steam review way more than a critic review. But also, it's why I go look at the negatives first. If I don't see you replying to them and them changing their score over time, or I don't see, like if the positive reviews don't massively outweigh the negatives, and like the issues in the negatives aren't being addressed, I instantly think it's a bad game that's being, like, shilled. I am not blind to the common man's plight. Greg. Hi, Gaga. Bio! Hi, Bio. Greg. Greg. Hi, Bio.
And that all brings me back to a bigger problem, which is permanence. Both these critics and developers are treating performance issues like they're temporary, as if the patches are going to come down the road and then everybody's just going to cycle back. But for players, performance issues sometimes are permanent. We do not live in a world where you can just press pause on life and just replay a game 6 months later when it's finally fixed. Most of us do not have the time to revisit a game that let us down on launch day. Between work, family, and a constant flood of new releases, we just move on. That first impression sticks, and for many players, it's the last impression that game is ever going to get. You can fix it a year later, you can optimize it into the ground, but for the people that refunded, for the ones that uninstalled, for the ones that left negative reviews, in a lot of cases, they're gone. And this isn't just about critics, it's the industry at large that's not valuing performance the same way that players do. Developers have convinced themselves that
I'm thinking of making like a review platform on Steam. Would you guys want me to do that? Make like a review platform? You know, like some of the reviewers you follow and stuff from Steam? Thinking of calling it like Dragon Gripes or something like that. Or Hordely Playable. Something silly like that. And then I'll let you know, hey, is this game playable? Is this game good? Are there real issues with it?
they can just keep working on a game after it launches, that they'll be able to get it all to come together later, but later doesn't really matter for an audience that's already checked out. That disconnect is exactly why we're seeing this cycle repeat itself over and over again. All these publishers prioritizing release dates and promising patches while players are left with a broken product that they may never touch again. Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky did a massive service to the players, but did irreparable damage to the games industry, and I'll elaborate on this. These guys made good on their promises. They fixed their games. They over-delivered in some cases and continue to over-deliver in the case of No Man's Sky. But the positive reaction that was around those games and the continued positive reaction around those games taught the industry all the wrong lessons.
The only reason No Man's Sky has a positive reception now is they went above and beyond, and even to this day, they constantly do good. Like, they made their game amazing. And they didn't charge bits and pieces constantly for every piece that they fix. That was their goodwill towards the people that, like, believed in them. And it was rewarded. You're not doing any of that. You're releasing the game broken and be like, why don't you treat us like No Man's Sky after they worked really hard and fixed the issues? We released it without any of the issues fixed. Treat us like No Man's Sky. No. Heck no. Go over to the dumpster.
These guys saw and they say, well, you know what? We can release a game in a garbage state. We can take their money as long as we promise to fix it later.
But you don't. That's the issue. And you didn't know that No Man's Sky was terrible. Like, it had no one playing it for a bit. And the people that were playing it, I think we're using mods and stuff to keep it kind of playable. Yeah, that's the other issue. What's stopping you from releasing it fixed? Yeah, no, like, it got to, like, less than, what was it, like 5,000 people playing it. Which is basically no one. Like, it didn't completely die. But they just kept their heads down, worked, fixed it, started fixing issues, putting out updates to more people, and more people started playing it, and more. And then some of the other people started coming back. They earned that love and respect.
Essentially, ever since then, I've only seen more and more games release in worse and worse states year after year. And
like, I love it. And they're like, we'll fix it. When, though? No Man's Sky kept working. You didn't.
These AAA games are getting so bad. And they used to already release in incomplete states to begin with day one patches and things like that. But now...
Yeah, there was a flood that, like, some of the stuff they wanted to have in the game was destroyed because those computers were destroyed. But they didn't make excuses. They didn't pretend like it never happened and just take the money and run kind of deal. Be back later. Bye.
They've seen resurrections. They've seen praise. And they think that they can get away with it at any time. And I'm not saying that that's the goal that a lot of these guys are aiming for, but if they get down to the line of release date, they think that they will have a golden parachute. I guarantee there's probably some strategy meetings where they're like, the game's going to be really rough because of this, but don't worry, we've seen with other games that this can work out. That's why it's gotten to the point where you're seeing some of these developers getting confused and even angry that we're not showing them the same grace as we would some of these other companies. I think that's why they're getting so upset. They think that the outrage is just too much. They think that it's overbearing and it's odd.
It's undeserved.
And these game journalists and these developers, they think it's...
What's funny is, this reminds me of the joke I've had with my friend that I go out to eat with sometimes. I think we're going out to eat Sunday. The joke was, if I get president, I'll abdicate so he becomes president. But all I want is the power to go into these, like, companies, like gaming companies, regular companies, and find out who's the one making the stupid decisions. That's all I want to do. Especially the gaming companies. I will root out the people that are pushing the gambling mechanics and stuff, and I'll be like, out. You are not corrupting the youth of America. It's stuff like that. Like, that's the joke. That and getting into fights with some of the other countries. Like, I'll fight China for what the best anime is. I'll be fighting with the ambassador, be like, this anime's better! I would be a very funny vice president. we'd get into wars over anime. We wouldn't like the war wouldn't be with people. It'd be shit posting on Twitter at the other ambassadors and stuff. Be like, your anime's crap. Exactly. Most said hires don't even play the game after one day of streaming. Book up for VP. Heck yeah, I'll
It's
start
weird
running.
because they look at all of this as just temporary problems. But what is so temporary about something that seems to happen with every single AAA?
Happens with every single AAA. Never gets fixed. Be shocked when you're not treated like a company that fixed the issues and never made excuses.
Game. That sounds pretty permanent.
Why don't you treat us good like them?
To me, right? I mean, the two biggest AAA releases of this year, Monster Hunter Wilds and Borderlands 4, both games, terrible performance. That seems permanent.
That seems permanent.
Ultimately,
I'm reserving judgment for Monster Hunter Wilds for after Christmas. Because they promised it'll be fixed at Christmas. I better see some fixes. We will use it for agree. I want to get that sound. I'm going to see if I can talk to... I think Amumu has it. I'm going to see how she did it. I'll actually contact her today. I'll contact her right now,
I think that this
actually.
issue is just going to sort itself out financially. I think that these games are going to come out. I think that they're going to farm the first week that they're out. They're going to make a ton of money in that first week or first month. And then after that, the follow-up sales are just going to die. They're going to die hard. And we already know that's the case because Monster Hunter Wild sold 10 million copies in its first month, but hasn't been able to sell 500,000 since then. That's crazy. The reason why that's happening is because, think about it. The people that are waiting to buy the game are likely the people that don't have the money to play the game, and they're also likely the people who don't have the hardware to be able to play the game. So the games are getting killed by word of mouth, but also the people that can't actually afford to be even able to run some of these games. Got to meet the players where they are. That's why I said before, targeting the modern audience shouldn't be about skin color or gender. It should be about income and hardware. Hopefully they'll learn. If they don't, I'll make a video for them. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Tell me how if you guys have been enjoying the game at all or playing it at all, what's your experience been with its performance? What else are you guys looking forward to this year? And that's all.
I wish...
Stay cool, stay righteous, stay
I
safe.
wish, Legendary Drops... Family! I wish Legendary Drops or some of these big... like, Game Reviewer streamers, like Legendary Drops and stuff, would address the TOS issue too. And the anti-cheat and stuff. I'm not loading that game up in America. It's not happening. Not until things are fixed. But that was Legendary Drops. Been wanting to watch that one for a bit. Don't forget to give them a like. And a share and stuff. Make me so happy. And I'm sure it makes Drops happy. Goodbye!